Okay, so let's say it says Beyaki Rusa Haki Kasiv, in that particular preciousness which he's now pinning on the beard of Eric Anpin, I believe, Lo Over Ba Ish Velo Yashiv Adim Sham. So no did not pass through there the concept of Ish, Velo Yashiv Adam Sham, and no man stood there. Adam Lebarhu. So Adam, where do you find him? You find him on the outside. Adam lo kalil hacha is not incorporated here. Kol shechein ish, and certainly if the Adam is not, then certainly the ish. But tleisa neviim muvuyim is parsha. But instead, it goes into 13 different. That's the flow that we're talking about. That was in the last little piece. Apparently, he read it earlier. The place of neviim muvuyim is parsha. It spells it at 13 different streams. So let's see over here his translation, or where are we? Let's see. We'll read the blurb first. He says, "Acha shabir inin klalos adikna de erikanpin." So now, after we've explained this, yivorav atachav she'ein zer anpin nichlal bedikna de erikanpin kedugmas his klalos abba ve'ima bedikna. So in other words, they're not associated with the beard, or they're not incorporated in the beard. The beard doesn't reach them. Ella omer malvish as Eric Anpin mibachutz, but they're outside of the beard. They're not underneath the beard like Abba ve'ima. Shalo over ba ish v'lo b'yashiv adam sham. That's the reason why it says. So what does that mean? Shebedikna de Eric Anpin lo over ba ish hu zer Anpin hanigra be'ish ba'oded bekatnas. So he's called an ish when he's in a state of kindness. And he says that lo yashiv adam sham, and he explains that also no man stands or passes through there. The gam kashazer anpin higir the godless, and he's really a complete parts of v'nikra adam gam kain eder v'nichlal bedikna de erik anpin. So his position will never be in part like Abba ve'ima. So let's see what he says here going again. So he starts with our famous word here, biyaki rusa, haki kasiv, in regards to the beard of Eric Anpin, bedikna the azos the Eric Anpin shenik brachakati ayaki rusa, Amba b'pasad ba'aretz lo aver ba'ish, ba'eretz lo aver ba'ish, V'lo yashiv adam sham, and no man lived there. When yashiv adam sham. Okay, let's get another interruption here. Okay, back again. So we're going to this last one. Ki hapasa b'dava be'Eric Anpin. It's speaking about Eric Anpin. He's not called a man, he's a man, he's not, these two words for man. Because he's beyond that. Adam levarku, so the man is on the outside. Ki Adam enu nikra ela zer anpin, Adam is only called zer anpin. That's when you've heard the Ertantrish malvish as Eric Anpin b'bechutz, who's always covering Eric Anpin, but he's outside of the envelope of the zakan. Number Kaf, so move past there. So as we talk here about zer anpin, while he's still in a level of katnas, nikra ish, the gadlus or az nikra adam. So the pasuk actually is remez to these two different levels. So there was no passing through the east, and no dwelling of the Adam either. Adam lo kalo hocha, is that the Adam doesn't belong here, not belong, it doesn't attach here. Higam kashazer anpin nigdal v'nikra Adam. Ein nichlal bedikna de Eric Anpin. Kol shechem ish. So certainly, when we talk about ish, we use that word. B'chol shchein shezer anpen bekat nusach al nikra ish. Einen nichlal bedikna de eriganpen in miskaten. So, okay. V'zecha v'sha'amach bekanda pasab al dikna de eriganpen. Ki lo zu bilva, because not only this, shehu zer anpen, bekantas lo avar. So he says, Ella af Adam, when he grows to gadlus. Shehu zer anpen begadlus, gam came lo yashav sham. That's really all I have today, because I think if we started going back through it, or do we have time? How much time do we have? 2 minutes? 5 minutes. 5 minutes? 5 minutes? All right, well, in 5 minutes we could look at 1 or 2 little items here. So we started off with the word Bayeki Rusa, and so that we have another Tes Zion down at the bottom over here. Let's see if I get it. And Tes Zion says like the Nidfas Garis Kan the Bayaki Rusa. So there's a dalit. Im os dalit b'tekilas v'chul tikun shall defus kushta. So this is what they put in the defus kushta. V'abayim achrav, and also all of those followed afterwards. Amnam. Gersas at the Fusem Akadmonim. So the original Gersas, which came from where? Mantova and Cremona and Salzburg, and he says in Amsterdam. So he said, what? Let me say, those that came after them, they used a different, they had a different Gersa. So he said, and there it says, who biakirusa below os dalet, doesn't have the dalet there. So also we see in the Marisruk. Perish al-Talmud, Bahadris Melech, so all of that, Re Od Baharos, the Ale, look over there, Al Midas Yakira. So I decided to skip number Yud Zion, so we have whatever, so we'll look at just a little bit more. After Yud Ches, it says, She'enu Nikra, after Yud Zion, I think we have to read. He says, Yud Zion, and the Amber of the Pasuk in Yirmiyah, Be'eretz, Lo aver aba ish v'lo yashiv adam sham ki pasuk v'daber be'erik anpen. Speaking about Erik Anpen, she is not called by any of these names. V'hine, he says, number Yud Ches down below. Hine lashon the pasuk sham. This is language kachu. He said Havaya hama'ala osana me'eretz Mitzrayim, hamolech osanu b'midbar, etc. So he said that's the pasuk. Be'eretz lo aver ba'ish, and then he goes on to say these phrases. Below yashiv adam sham, and nobody man dwells in. V'yesh lahabe nehechon. So we have to understand how nirmaz b'pasuk zeh the ayre bedikta to Erik Anpen. Where do you get from here that you can understand that what it's talking about? I mean, you're telling me it did, but you know. So when you get back, that's going to be a question that we're going to have later on. Again, the question is, how did this anything about this Ish and this Adam have to do with Erik Anpen? Over there, it's going to get into that. And I think that's it for today. Thank you very much for learning with me.